So Naughty Dog mentioned that they were probably not going to do Uncharted 5 or Uncharted anymore. They were going to walk away from it. And they were teasing that they might walk away from Last of Us 2. I got to call cap on that part because I think what it is that the Uncharted movie didn't do as good as they wanted it to. However, the Last of Us show is doing very good. We're going to talk about that later. But they have to make a Last of Us 3. There's no question. Like, there's no question.
One thing is, I've only played the first 2 Uncharted's, and then I'm going to play Uncharted 3 this year and Uncharted 4 next year. We're going to play like 1 a year. And I think Uncharted 4 ended, like, from my understanding, without spoiling anything, it ended, like, as a way of saying, like, this is the end.
For Nathan Drake.
Yeah. So I feel like it's a game that does not need to be continued. Like anything after that is going to feel like a cash grab. Yeah. Again, they can do something inspired by and do a new Treasure Hunter, but it doesn't have to be Uncharted, I think. So I'm okay with them being done. Like, it's okay to be done. Sometimes, like, I want games back, like I want another Infamous or Sucker Punch, I think I've talked about before, where you can see their track record. They do like 3 and then they are done. Like, it's a done series, even if I want more. But for Last of Us, his wording I liked more, even though it was the teasing that, like, we might not do a Last of Us 3. They're gonna do one. But what
because they had announced like weeks ago that they were already starting it. Like, I don't know if you remember that. Like,
but that's the wording that he used though, was that when we have a good story to tell for it is when we'll release it.
Yeah.
Which lets me know, I don't know, and if I take it at face value, what they said, it lets me know they're not going to release something because they're just hoping the name gets the money, like a cash grab. It lets me know that, like, I know they're going to do this, but I think it's their way of saying, hey, don't think something's about to drop this year. Like, we want it to be logical and be a good game. So it's like that, at least they care about the story enough, which... even just say what you want about, the second one, they went their own direction with it for the story. They do put a lot of effort in the story. So it's nice to know that they're going to stick to that.
It was mentioned also that Last of Us 2 for HBO, or the Last of Us show is going to be renewed for a second season, and that it is going to focus on the second game.
Which is why I think Last of Us 3 will come out like after Last of Us 2, like, or once Last of Us 2 starts on the HBO series is when Last of Us 3 is going to drop, is what I think.
Yes, for that, I'm a little worried because it seems like they might have some time constraints now that they have to, like, abide by. And there was some issues with, like, HBO and Game of Thrones with that last season because I guess that wasn't his. Yeah, it wasn't like the creative path that the original guy wanted it to be or whatever. And then, like, it was not, perceived to be great according to the fans and stuff. Everybody would say it was like one of the worst endings to a show ever. And I was just wondering if the people working on the show or like HBO might put pressure, maybe even Sony directly put pressure on Neil Druckmann and his team and Naughty Dog to really get a third game out within a certain amount of time, which might jeopardize the creative process, because of the pressure of having an HBO show that might pull in more money than what Last of Us 2 did. Because Last of Us 2 pulled in some money, but after a certain point, it plateaued because of everybody's, like, reception of it, right? But the actual show is, like, getting praised by an entirely different crowd to the point where The Last of Us Part 1 on PS5, like, the sales for it increased, like, something like 300+%, 320% or something. I think that was a headline at one point. And they were all basing that on the first episode for the most part, and then for some people the second episode, which we're going to talk about later. Yeah, they have to do a part 3 though, without question. For them to say that, it was kind of goofy to me. It's like, you have to do it no matter what. There's too much money on it. Yeah,
they already announced no, but I thought what they were going to do was construct a story around, because they still have to release that multiplayer thing. I thought they were going to construct a story around that. Yeah. And like when it was first announced that they were doing a multiplayer, not when they gave more detail. But I thought that was going to end up being Last of Us 3. And it was just going to be a more multiplayer focused one with still a story in there until they talked about what it was. And I was like, oh, okay, never mind. But
they might do something like that, like Fear of the Walking Dead compared to Walking Dead. They might do something like that. But they have to come out with an actual Last of Us 3. There's no way they cannot do it, especially the way the second game ended, especially with like the way, you know, people like they don't want to conclude it that way. There has to be, it would probably be called Last of Us Part 3, but it has to come out. Like there's no question. It has to, for multiple reasons, just like for the art itself, the story, the money, as far as just what you would make on that game, as well as the money for the TV show with HBO. You know, unless the second season, because I'm also kind of curious on that. Like the second season might actually be really bad, unless they really take some liberties, because they took some liberties in the show, and I'll talk about it later. But with the second season, it's like a lot of the story is what people didn't like about the game. It was like they liked the gameplay, they thought was superb. Right. And then, you know, the Shambler basically and the Rat King. But as far as the story, like everything that we've heard about it, I'll call it Jerry Springer. Like if you take out the Joel stuff, everything else just felt like Jerry Springer to me. But yeah, Jerry Springer featuring revenge plot. So I don't know. That might tank it, you know, putting it on the big screen. But even though they still have to do a third game, they have to do the game at least. You know, that's how I feel. I don't know.
Is it safe to call it a swing and a miss?
I guess. All right. I'm going to clip that too. That's going to get clipped. It's coming out probably, I'll say Thursday. That's going to come out Thursday. It's going to get clipped and come out Thursday. Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Click the link in the description for the main show.